Kids' clothing, home appliances, personal belongings just scattered everywhere. And right here is some framework that once held a home that was actually located right across the street. This family says they've lost nearly everything. I was playing a round of darts and all of a sudden a gunshot went off. I looked to my left, I was near the Bennett Center, and all I could see was a massive crowd running towards me. That suspect or suspects may no longer be inside the Dollar General. They did just bring in a tow truck. We're told by a couple of people who have been standing here watching the whole thing unfold that gray Malibu you see it starting to pick up right now is the suspect or suspect's vehicle. Here are some of the debris from that car accident. As you can see, there is parts of the vehicle. There's a hat that appears to be a young boy's. And you know, one of the questions that we had asked was, how did the gun even make it into the stadium? And they did say that there isn't a metal detector at the front of these gates. I've actually created my own Olaf. It may not look like a snowman, but it's what we're working with. It's still a very hot, very active scene here on South Council at the Hobby Lobby Distribution Center. Police have been here for the last hour and a half investigating what is now turned into a homicide investigation. Well, as you can see behind me, the gate to Jesse McFadden's property is wide open and there's no crime scene tape. So we asked the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation if it's still an active scene, but they wouldn't tell us anything other than it's still an ongoing investigation. Tomorrow it will be 100 days since I filed an open records request with your office. Does that spark you as transparent? Why have I waited 100 days? The extension, it's giving you and the tribes an opportunity to negotiate for the next year, at least until December of 2024. Are you actually looking to negotiate, or are you trying to sway tribes into entering into your compact agreement? You're going to try and meet them in the middle then and take parts from what your compact says and what their compact says? Because that would be a negotiation.
I absolutely will not give Eastern Oklahoma over to reservation for all purposes. Who do you work for?
Work for Channel 4.
Channel 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, you're not negotiating. You're sticking with your compact.
No,
though this next year is supposed to.
I just explained what I'm doing. I'm not.
I get that, but I get what you're explaining, but it was just a simple question of, it's supposed to be a year of negotiating, but you're saying I'm not giving an inch. This is it. First, want to warn you, the images you're about to see from inside the home are disturbing. It was hard to watch Ivy's family as they discovered what they believe is crucial evidence that was left behind by law enforcement. In a matter of minutes, they found their own daughter's cell phone tucked away in a cabinet, and that was just the beginning. Now they're wondering whether law enforcement dropped the ball.
We can't have parents go through OPF. I'm angry. This should have never happened.
His daughter Ivy was only 14 years old when Jesse McFadden murdered her. Okmulgee police say Ivy died from a gunshot wound to the head. Her family has zero answers, couldn't say goodbye, and has no closure. So now they're looking for it.
I feel that my daughter, even right now, is standing behind me, telling me, Dad, keep going. Keep doing this.
Phone or phone case.
Thursday afternoon, News 4 was invited by Webster and his family to take a closer look at where his daughter took her last breath. Behind these walls, the family found sex and bondage devices. In one of the bedrooms were restraints bolted into the bed frame. There was also a shelf filled with books about witchcraft. 10 feet away in the kitchen, another restraint with chains and locks still attached. Although there were reportedly 4 bodies found in this home, we didn't see any bloodstains, no blood splatters. In the back room, the most shocking find of it all, crucial items that had not been collected.
That's them. Babe, that's them.
Okay,
that's
is that hers?
Yep. Okay. Hold on.
Call the sheriff.
Yep.
Don't touch them. Don't move them.
Ivy Webster's cell phone was tucked away in a laundry room cabinet, along with 2 other cell phones and 2 laptops. In the same room, syringes, what appears to be drug residue, and various items the family believes was used to torture their daughter before she was murdered. None of it collected by law enforcement until this family called the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office and asked them to come back to the home and retrieve these items.
There you go.
Pictures were snapped and the items finally collected. but not without a brief explanation as to why it hadn't been done before.
I want more done.
The problem is, we don't know what else to do. Like,
There's a story to be told here.
right.
We don't know what happened.
Don't know what else to do. I'm going to say
And
this.
since we don't have the only person that can tell us what happened,
He's dead, but we can try to piece it together.
And I'm going to say this was not done right. No crime scene tape.
we are open to any suggestions you all can
I'm saying
give.
this. They didn't do their job, and the whole world's going to know it.
But what would this accomplish?
I'm a grieving parent that my daughter got raped and murdered, and you're telling me right now that I don't have a right to know what happened? The story's right here. It's right here. And it's still sitting here. Still!
Disgusted with the investigation into his daughter's murder, he only saw more uncollected evidence on his walkout. Another phone in the top drawer of a nightstand, several computer towers, and a check made out to a local storage company still sitting in plain sight.
I'm upset, healing, trying to heal, still confused, still a lot of answers that need to be given.
We've spent the day trying to find out why the cell phones, why the laptops, and why the other evidence was left behind. We were told by a sheriff's investigator in Okmulgee County that they were only responsible for searching the property, not the house. He said the house was the sole responsibility of the OSBI, but the OSBI confirms its investigators were in the house. But they tell us those investigators were only providing assistance to the Okmulgee Police Department. Today, neither the Okmulgee Police Department nor the Sheriff's Office nor the DA's office would comment on our story. The OSBI did issue a statement saying they will continue to support and assist our law enforcement partners and grieve with the families of this horrible event. The investigation is still ongoing.
Over $500,000 in wasted taxpayer dollars. And in our government, we have checks and balances to prevent tyranny and absolute power, which Governor Stitt seems to believe that he has.
Frustration and questions of why pouring through the Capitol halls as the governor's legal counsel spending is revealed. Governor Stitt is being sued by 4 of Oklahoma's largest tribes for taking a, quote, illegal route and having compacts deemed approved.
And instead of fighting the tribes, the governor ought to be learning from them.
And the governor has turned to 2 out-of-state law firms, one in Washington, D.C., and another in Georgia, and a private metro firm for help, costing the state a pretty penny. Let's break it down. Sullivan and Cromwell received $394,900. Troutman Pepper Hamilton Sanders was paid $17,311.50. And Ryan Whaley Cold Iron Jansen Peters got $184,013.
You're the first person that's given me the definitive number on it. This is just that one case. There's been multiple cases in the post-McGirt world, so it is well in excess of $1 million, I'm sure.
We emailed the governor's office asking about the money. A direct response on the dollar amount wasn't given, but a spokesperson says it was necessary for the governor's office to retain a lawyer that was licensed to practice in Washington, D.C., since that's where the case will be argued. We also asked about where the money was pulled from. No response. State Office of Management and Enterprise Services records reveals at least one of these law firms was paid out of the Tribal Gaming Compliance Fund in 2020. But a reason for payment isn't listed.
They're not there for the governor to use as a piggy bank to go attack tribes.
But the Attorney General's office says they're not aware of any legislative approval to support the spending of those funds for this particular purpose. Now that lawmakers are in the loop, though,
We may have Loft look into this, the group that I set up a few years ago with the Speaker, the Legislative Office of Fiscal Transparency, but we're still in our early stages of looking at that.